Hello there, guys. Welcome to the defense of the Australian Summer Tournament. Daredevil Dan is with me, but he's politely lended me his channel. My name's Only Logic. What do you think of the tournament so far, Dan? You there? No, he hasn't loaded yet.
Am I here?
Yeah, hey Dan, how you doing? Thank you
My
very
mic
much.
decided to mute itself. It was good. I said like 3 sentences and it was just like, nah.
not picking it up.
But yeah, no, the tournament's been really good so far. We've had a bit of an upset where DA actually leading the group over March of Massic and over S Gaming, and they've played extremely well. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of the other teams that I didn't really favour for the top two spots of the group. So I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be pretty good. Last Ronin just played in the last game, who didn't do so well, unfortunately. But let's see how they turn it around against Coronae Australis.
Yeah, they were against Icy in the last match, which is a team I've seen a few times. So they could have that sort of experience gap on them.
True. Yeah, I've heard of Icy before, and I thought that they had played in the last tournament, but I was unfortunately mistaken. But instead, they played really well. They had a close, consistent game. Last Ronin definitely had a good draft. They just couldn't get those crucial moments in.
Yeah, they definitely struggled at the last moments of the game, and they just couldn't get on the board well enough, really. And so from CA, we're going to see the Bane banned out, usually leading to some sort of either they know how Last Ronin plays, so they like to do like Bane Mirana combos or Bane with Invokers, or it's because they want to pick up something like a Naix or a hero that relies basically on BKB to fight.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
You ban it a lot against if you want to pick up things like Luna, or you just don't want to play against it. And we see the Veno OD banned out by Last Ronin. Obviously a very good mid and a very good support.
Oh yeah, Veno's seen a lot of competitive play ever since Havost used it as a carry. I think was when the first time we saw Veno used competitively, like commonly, which was a complete mistake. But hey, it changed the scene a bit. People started realizing how good Venomancer actually is, and I think that happens with a lot of heroes. They sort of rotate into good and bad. I'd like to see how Last Ronin changed their draft. To differentiate between how they played in the last game, and we've seen a Death Prophet, which I don't think we've seen this in the tournament yet, have we?
Not any of the games we've casted. I don't think we've seen it in any of the others that I can remember. But Death Prophet's been seen a little bit as of late, basically for push lineups. You either pick up something like the DP or something like Pugna.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Death Prophet Shadow Shaman is basically screaming, "We want to push you down quickly."
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the buff to the ultimate made a lot of difference. The spirits do 10 more damage each, and there was a buff to Witchcraft as well.
Yeah.
Which was a slight movement speed buff. So the heroes basically just puts out more damage now and runs at you faster. Which is basically all that hero does, is run at you and do damage. So.
It's pretty much it. Yeah, I think we see some different ways of dealing with Death Prophet, and I have seen Doom picked against Death Prophet purely because that way she can't launch her spirits. I think Doom disables Witchcraft as well, last time I checked.
Yeah, disables absolutely everything, other than Legion Commander's passive, because it's broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, it actually should disable it, but it doesn't work. There are a couple of other things, but pretty much Doom silences everything. That's the rule to go by. If you've got a Doom, Doom's like this hero that you can play in jungle or in mid as a carry or as the anti-carry.
Yeah.
So if they pick up like a PA or a Void, you just silence them. And PA can't crit, she can't dodge, and Void can't bash and can't dodge.
Exactly, and it makes teamfight. It really turns it around teamfights when you've got heroes like Death Prophet. I wouldn't pick a Doom purely to counter a Death Prophet, but if they pick up any more of these heroes that really have like huge damage effect, or things like Storm Spirits, things maybe even like a hard carry Void or Anti-Mage, Doom would definitely go well.
Yeah, exactly. And Twitch is just telling me something about the stream. I'll just paste it to you in Skype, saying it's not set to CBR, which Twitch needs now, but we can fix that later.
Oh, right. Broadcast on it set to come to a bit right. I've never actually had a problem with that in my Twitch though. So, but either way, I'll get on.
Yeah, I mean we can do it later. It'll disrupt this game too much to do it now. It should be fine. It just had a pop up saying that yeah, that needed to be changed. But going through the bans, the Nature's Prophet and the Pugner have been banned out, so they don't want to play against the split push or the heavy push that a Pugner brings along with a Death Prophet. And the Keeper of the Light and the Darkseer have been banned out, which is pretty much
anti-push.
Best anti-push heroes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't ban out a Tinker rather than the Darkseer if they are going for a lot of push, but picking up the Clockwork generally isn't for pushing, but rather to get that pick off before you take down a tower, so it does work in this lineup quite well. And I mean, it's very clear to see what they're doing, so CA basically just need to draft against it, and if you can hold off that first, 25-30 minutes of pushing, you can eventually just turn it around because they can't fight you. And the Gyrocopter now picked up, which is, a good late game carry, decent anti-push with the cooldown and obviously flat cannon. And last Ronin picking up the Dazzle, which no one ever really sees that.
Yeah,
much.
I thought that was very surprising as well. I'm looking at the Nyx Assassin, I'm thinking, what can the Nyx Assassin do? Death Prophet, reasonably tanky. Clockwork, also reasonably tanky. He's going to have a high-level Dagon before he can take those two. Shadow Shaman will absolutely melt. And Dazzle will probably melt a Nyx Assassin as well, so I'm not sure about that pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Nyx Assassin Carapace as well is very good against Death Prophet. Just because if one of the ghosts hits you, Death Prophet gets stunned. And obviously if you want to spam out Crypt Swarm, you can counter it. And I think we could actually see the Nyx Assassin going against the Death Prophet mid.
In mid.
With the Mana Burn and the Spiked Carapace, you can definitely do okay, but I mean, when you're going against a Crypt Swarm that has a 4-second cooldown, if you max out the Witchcraft, Carapace top level is 14 seconds, so it's not going to help a great deal.
Yeah. I could see this lineup, this Nyx mid, definitely going against Death Prophet. If they can shut down Death Prophet early, and the Nyx can get to level 6 well before the Death Prophet, then that's basically mid 1, and Nyx can roam, Nyx can pick off the other heroes, and it'll just snowball from there.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the Lich pickup in this, but it gives more team fight, which is, if you look at the lineup, it definitely looks like what it is, but they don't really have the setup for the Lich ultimate yet.
True.
Because if you just throw it out, they're just going to split and nothing really happens, unless you get, the stun from the Nyx, the cooldown. You basically need everything to work at once, which, I mean, this team could do. If, obviously if they have the communication with each other, they definitely could do that.
I'm trying to see an offlane with a good sort of stun, and I'm thinking one of the best heroes to combo with that Lich would be Treant Protector in that offlane, and he'd go really well in that team because he's tanky enough to take some of Death Prophet's harass, and he can pretty much be a really great bait for Clockwork into the Nyx stun, into the Visage, Soul Assumption. So I'd love to see a Treant Protector pick. I think that would be an amazing play here, especially to combo with the Lich and with the Gyro.
Yeah, the ultimate certainly does combo quite well with them. The only thing is, Treant Protector is not going to be hard for Last Ronin to kill in the offlane if they're running a tri-lane. And as we see the Bristleback coming out, you probably don't want a Treant there. You need something with the some sort of escape against them, because level 2 Bristleback with the goo and with Quill Spray is just going to run at you, and the Weaver pickup is basically just going to be fine if he is going to the offlane, which, as we see it now, is quite possible. Or he could be going mid and having the Lich offlane.
Yeah,
which also does work.
Lich offlane's definitely good. People say, well, why Lich offlane? He can't jump, he can't blink, he's got frost armor, yay, he's not very tanky besides that. Why pick Lich for the offlane? And it's purely because of his sacrifice ability. Just one sacrifice can pretty much pull the creep wave back to his tower, and from then on it's really easy to control it under tower.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that you just deny the carry experience. Pretty much every wave, once you're level 3, you deny a creep. Because it's 36 seconds on level 2, and generally that's where most people leave it. and then go for more Frost Armor, Frost Blast, and the Chain Frost. Ugh, I just said Frost so many times.
Frost, all that Frost.
All the Frost. But let's go ahead and introduce the teams. On
Definitely.
the side of Ronin, we have Bushido playing the Krob going into the mid lane. Roldeem on the Dazzle bottom. King on the Shadow Shaman. Exile playing the Bristleback. And Psycho is playing that Clockwork.
Yeah, well, looks like they're all running into the forest. Sorry, looks like a couple are running into the forest here, the Shadow Shaman and the Dazzle, which is a really obvious tri-lane with that Bristleback. I mean, it just combos so well. You want to make Bristleback tanky, you give him somebody that can hex and somebody that can heal. Looking at the side of Coronalis, Australis, we've got Weaver doing the off lane alongside Lich. Is this a dual lane? Gosh, this would be a great dual lane. Weaver and Lich both in the off lane here. We've got the Nyx being played by Cora V2. We've got the Magi Bum playing the carry Gyrocopter alongside the support Visage as Kaizek? Probably Kaizek. The rune ward, the invisibility rune is being pinged by the team, but it looks like nobody's actually going to pick that up. They're just going to leave it there.
Yeah, neither of the teams really needed to start with, and by the looks of it, we're going to have a decently passive early game, other than the fact that there's a dual lane top against Psycho, and he could get caught out, but he does have Cogs first, so there's basically no likelihood of him dying straight away. And down bottom lane.
Yeah, it looks like Lich has been graphed, and First Blood is stolen by Exile. Good steal there for the hard carry. Immediate First Blood for an out-of-position Lich.
Yeah, way too deep there, trying to put the wards down. And now that they saw him there, they know the ward's there. And there is a lot of disable on this lane. I mean, the slow Poison Touch from Dazzle is decent, but then you've got a 2.5 second Shackle. Exile is now going to be level 2 quite quickly, so the Goo's going to be up quite fast. Which will obviously give him a lot of chasing potential and a lot of kill potential just for the fact that it does -1 armor per level, and early game -1 armor per level is quite a lot. And he picked up early boots, so he's going to have no problem on this lane anymore. And I'd actually like to see these supports just rotate straight off the lane now and let him have solo experience, because these two won't kill him. He's tanky enough to just not die.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm looking at the Shadow Shaman and I'm thinking about his build. I'm wondering if, because a solid Shadow Shaman build would be to get 3 points into Ether Shock and 1 point into Hex. And I'm wondering if he's going to do a double on Hex and Shackles just so that he can completely dominate this lane with the Weaver in it.
It is likely, but against a Weaver generally you need a lot of burst damage to kill him quite quickly. And the scaling on the Shackle isn't very good. It barely doubles in 4 levels. Hex is decent, which is over double. Obviously double would be 2.5 and it maxes at 3.5, but the other shock just does so much damage, it's very hard not to get. But yeah, he could do it either way. It depends on how fast he's leveling, sitting already at level 2 on a support. But Dazzle is doing the pull, so he's going to get everything he wants as well. So, I mean, he definitely could go either way. But over on mid, we're going to see Krob basically completely dominating this Nyx in last hits, has the rune control. And Nyx is already bottle crowed and is already losing health. And obviously before the 3-minute mark, they don't have a crow. They just have a walking courier, so he's going to struggle here, and missing a stun as well, which is going to hurt.
Yeah, that new update to the Nyx stun since the last major patch, it's surprisingly harder than it looks, because unlike Lions, Nyx stun actually has that little bit of a charge up time, meaning that it is actually much easier to miss than Lions stun. And now that it's no longer single targets, now that it's only area of effect, it really is much harder to hit that.
Yeah, certainly. And just one thing, are you streaming to the Singapore server or to the American servers?
Should be streaming to the Singapore servers. Why?
Okay. Apparently the Singapore server's having problems and Twitch buffers a lot.
Oh, goodness. Is it still buffering, is it?
Well, it's doing, intermittent buffering, but it's doing it a bit more than normal, apparently, as Twitch likes to do. So it might actually be worth resetting the stream if it's going to be doing that a lot.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
because apparently the San Francisco server is a lot more stable at the moment than the Singapore
Yeah,
one.
I'm actually getting a clean stream here, both on OBS and on my side on Twitch.
Okay.
So I'm not
We'll,
not really
we'll
sure
let
about
it
that.
run, and
Hmm.
I'll keep an eye on it
Yep,
on my
sure,
other screen.
sure. And then if anything happens, then I will switch to the global load balancing service to the American server.
Yeah. But
Damn Twitch.
yeah, Twitch has been giving everyone problems recently. I mean, everyone streams there, so their servers are just screwed.
Hmm. I think YouTube wants to take over on the content, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube has the power to because it's Google, but it's going to be hard moving such a huge viewer base. But it could be done over on top lane. We
Yep.
can see Psycho caught out here. The Rocket's going to catch him. A lot of damage coming out from the barrage, and an easy kill grab there. Just out of position and too far up.
What I think is absolutely amazing about that is that Kaizek, I find it really hard to pronounce his name. He is now level 4, but he was level 3 at the same time that the off-lane solo farming Clockwork was level 3, which is very impressive. That's really good zoning out done by the supports there.
Yeah, he's done a great job on that lane, constantly pulling, constantly keeping that Clockwork off lane, and just having lane domination there. And I mean, we look at the 2v3 down bottom, and they did give up the first blood, but they've sort of stabilized here, and obviously they'll be getting more experience than the 3, unless they are pulling effectively, which does look like they're doing, with Dazzle basically sitting in the river the whole time. But Kaizek, he is smoked up mid, so they're going to want to go on Bushido, but there's no mana for a follow-up stun on this next assassin, so unless they get a good soul assumption out here, they're not going to be able to kill him. And it just doesn't do enough damage. So he really needed the mana for the stun.
Very close to that kill there, except the soul assumption just not doing enough damage, which is interesting because I imagine the soul assumption would be quite high level by now.
It's
only level 2, yeah.
So it doesn't do that huge amount of burst, obviously.
Not to mention there wasn't enough damage coming through from the Nyx, except for the first bit of damage from his Vendetta. Other than that,
that was basically all the damage they did. Really, was that first Vendetta hit. But now Psycho sitting in this lane basically solo. He can stand up to this gyrocopter. Obviously, if he gets soloed out, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And even cogsing the gyro in with you is just a bad idea because of cooldown, and Rocket Barrage will just kill you. Because there is basically no cast time on those, so he can cast it under the effects of the battery assault.
I'm surprised that Gyrocopter, already with a Ring of a Killer, is not actually casting Homing Missile a little bit more often.
Well, because it's only level 1, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, fair point.
Clockwork's just going to run into it rather than run away, and it's going to do like 20 damage and stun for basically nothing. A lot of the time, if you are going in a 1v1 matchup, maxing Homing Missile can be very effective, but we're going to see Kaizek now wrap around from the back. Homing Missile is going to chase. Is he going to try and turn around a Cogs? He's just going to run away. And they needed the Homing Missile just a little bit earlier, and they would have been able to catch him, but Clockwork getting away there.
Bit of miscommunication there, I think. I saw the Visage wanting to come in around, and he probably started with the Grave Chill rather than starting off with the missile, which not the best way to do it, unfortunately. There you go. Now they know for next time.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did it the first time.
True, yeah.
Got the kill. But on this bottom lane, it's gone very stagnant, and that's not really what you want on a Bristleback. Most of the time you look for high aggression, but I mean, he's getting the gold. He's getting last. It's obviously not up with the Gyrocopter sitting on 50, but he's definitely doing okay for against a dual lane.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really need that much farm. Weaver caught out here a bit though. He is in his level 6. There is a Sentry Ward down. He does have a very highly charged wand though. One more quill would kill him if he can catch him, but he's not going to get it. Meanwhile, on top lane, we're going to see the Clockwork die as all that happens. And Crob's coming. But the slow and the cooldown are just going to keep her away.
I think even though it was just as an escape, that was a cooldown very well used. Especially with Witchcraft on there already having 2 points, which means it's got a 10% movement speed, but only brown boots, only boots of speed, which by this time I think is a little slow, maybe.
I would say she's rushing the mech for the team,
Hmm.
and that's why you keep it on brown boots, because once obviously you've maxed the witchcraft, upgraded boots is more of a luxury than a need.
Very true.
But yeah, I mean, if she did have them, it probably still wouldn't have changed anything obviously, because of the cooldown and the soul.
Hmm.
Not the soul assumption, the grave chill. But on the experience graph, we're looking at about 2,500 ahead for Cora, just over 1,000 gold ahead as well. So definitely in the lead here. Pretty much just because of the lanes are a little greedier, and Ronin haven't been able to use that to their advantage. This tri-lane just not being able to kill after that easy first blood, and only really getting that first blood because the Lich was out of position and didn't ward early enough. But Visage Birds are here, gonna scout out the Dazzle. Weaver coming through. You can't go through that gap. You can go through that gap, and it's just gonna try and harass him out. A lot of damage is gonna come out from these birds, but Bristleback to the rescue is gonna keep them just fine. And Weaver's he's just trying to create some sort of space to get this lane back in control. But obviously 3v2, it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, I saw a Dazzle. Who was it? It was a Dazzle Morphling dual lane in the easy lane, which was an absolutely amazing dual lane, because Morphling with the escape, with sometimes escape, with the potential escape, as well as Dazzle's Grave Pact? No, Shallow Grave. As well as Dazzle's Shallow Grave, it meant that he could basically keep the Morphling alive no matter what. And if he got targeted, he'd just keep himself alive.
Yeah, it's very hard to kill anyone when there's a Dazzle there. But Dazzle actually not getting a Shallow Grave, I mean, no, they can't kill them. There's 3 of them and 2 of the others, so it's fair enough for now. But I would say at level 5 to get it, because by that time you might be seeing team fights. And I did say that the Krob would be getting a mech, but just going for the treads now instead, and getting carapaced up a little there. But
yeah, so quite high on the net worth, but last hits also second highest. I just 12 minutes for boots. I just feel like that seems to me like it's just a bit slow.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been any kills or ganks to mid, which is normally what you see. So obviously the gold being hurt a little bit by that, but does have the bottle and treads plus almost 800 gold. So definitely not a bad go, but I am surprised she doesn't have more last hits, to be honest, because Nyx has got 6 denies, and I'm actually kind of surprised she has those. But Krob TPing top, keeping that Clockwork alive on 1 health, and Kizik is going to get out of there quite easily just for the TP, because obviously she has no stun. Trying to catch these birds now. Does she get one, or did it drop? I think she got one.
Yeah, it looks like one of them. Looks like one of them's down, and the other one was dropped.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the wraparound comes down bottom.
There's been already immediately actually a really good frost orb there, and it's taken down 1 hero. It's going to take down 2. They could maybe chase down this Dazzle, but they're not going to. That's 2 kills there going round from a brilliant Lich ult, coming back from a bit of a deficit as well in that lane.
Yeah, exactly, and really doing well. I mean, you saw the quill sprays coming out of that Bristleback doing a lot of damage, even having a Vanguard, so it took them quite a while to kill him, but still managing to pick up the kill, which obviously is what counts in the game we call Dota.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you don't even give up any one of your own heroes. You really come out at an advantage.
Yeah, and we're going to see initiation on Psycho mid. Just a bit of harassment from Kizik.
Has Psycho trapped himself?
Oh. He trapped himself a little. He was just keeping Visage away. But Visage wasn't going to dive that tower. But he didn't know if there's anyone behind him to keep the aggression up. So playing it safe, which is fine at this point of the game. Is 4-1 to Cora, so definitely setting an advantage. Getting a lot more experience than the other team, about 5,000 ahead now, 3,000 in the gold, so just getting that advantage up. I think what Ronin needs to do is get a mech as early as possible, either on the Bristleback or the Krob, which neither are building, which makes me worry a little. because they are a pushing team, and they need to just go full on aggression.
And they're really going all out. Really going all out here in bottom lane. The spirits have been called. They want to take down this tower. They're taking a lot of hits, but Weaver's gone all the way past, and it looks like 5 have roamed down here. Weaver's probably been spotted down here at the bottom. He's definitely been spotted because there's a sentry ward there.
Nice hook coming in from Psycho, and they're going to instantly kill that Weaver. Those wards doing so much damage, getting the Visage kill as well. Psycho just a bit too deep, he is going to get killed, along with the Next Assassin getting cleaned up. And Gyrocopter doing a lot of work down here. Another Crop does pick up the Lich, staying there way too long, and they're going to get the tower. So, a 4 for 1 plus a tower?
Oh, definitely.
Exactly what they needed to do.
Great team fight, absolutely brilliant team fight. Take a quick look at the graphs. You see there's a huge inclination there from that dip going downwards, and that might be the team fight that brings it back. Looking at team fight potential, they're both quite equal on team fight potential, but those spirits, as we mentioned earlier, they really do a lot of damage. Both the Shadow Shaman wards as well as the spirits from Death Prophet.
Yeah, exactly. He just pumps out so much damage with that. And as we saw, you know, the combo with those Shadow Shaman wards and the ghosts, as you were saying, it decimates towers. I'm still worried about this mech though, man.
Very true, yeah.
Clocker's got chainmail, which could be it, or could be a blade mail. And Crob's going for an Argonym's, most likely. Actually, no, we'll be going for a Bloodstone, because Argonym's doesn't do anything.
Yeah. It's not upgradable by Aghanim's. He'll almost certainly going for a Bloodstone there. I was thinking another one that could pick up the mechanism was the Dazzle, who's already got an urn. Oh, that was a brilliant deny there by Gyrocopter, running in there, denying it and getting out completely safely. Really well done.
Yeah, definitely worth the risk a lot of the time. Sometimes not on your carry, like Gyrocopter did, but with the amount of damage he does, secured that really nicely, even with all those wards and the ghosts there. So good timing from him, and as we see now, Ronin are just going to creep up this 5 and move to the top, but they don't have wards for another 65 seconds, and they don't have ghosts for another 55, so it does look like they are going to slightly split up. Didn't Shadow Shaman just TP and then cancel it? Okay, so it's just going to be Psycho defending this bottom tower, and if he overcommits to this defense, he could die, but Next Assassin's ulti did run out, and the stuns missed, so he's fine.
Yeah, it looks like he can defend this quite safely. Actually, I reckon if he got one of them under the tower, under Cogs, he'd even be able to defend this tower, but no, they're just going to let it fall to a creep. Meanwhile, top lane, they're going to push the top lane tower here, and looks like there's no resistance.
Yeah, I mean, what can they do? They're too spread out, and they need basically a 5-man TP to stop that. They're just going to try and trade it instead, but they might be trading a tier 1 and a tier 2 for a tier 1. Cora just don't really have the lineup to stop these pushes, other than if they can get a good fight with the Lich ulti and the cooldown.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They are TPing back though, so maybe they are looking for this good fight. Poor Nyx missing all of these stuns, very unfortunately.
He's trying to use it to clear the creeps, but he really needs it for the fight. Lich ulti is going to go, and that's going to hit twice, and that'll be that.
Dazzle was still no shallow grave. He's going to just absolutely melt. The cooldown's going to come in. It's going to do a lot of damage. This is turning the team around again. Oh, oh wow.
The game of turnarounds, but that was a really nice initiation from them. They used a lot to try and kill the Weaver, and they just didn't manage to kill him with the time lapse going off. Once the BKB went off on the Gyrocopter, who has a really good amount of farm on him now, it just made the fight so easy. And with the BKB, what does any damage to him? The ghosts do, but that's really about it. Ghosts and Quill Spray. Like, you're not going to kill him with a BKB up unless you've got him solo with basically all the ghosts trying to kill him.
Right click from Clockwork? Maybe? If Bristleback gets close enough? Maybe? I can't see it. I really can't see it. I can't see any late game damage output from Ronin here. So I'm thinking if the game goes beyond about 40 minutes, that's it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, they can get certain things up. They can get, you know, the blade mails up, which will really hurt the gyrocopter unless he's got his BKB on. They need the mech up as soon as possible. No one's building it. It's really annoying me. They need a mech on this lineup. They have a dazzle, which brings obviously the shadow wave.
Hmm.
They have an urn, but the mech basically just restarts the fight for them.
Hmm.
But nice pickup actually on both those birds there. So an easy 200 gold, and I think they're just going to try and go for this again. 13 seconds though on the serpent wards, so they're going to have to wait for that. And this is the time that Cora can initiate. Nice
Been a
one
stun
coming
there.
out on Mosquito.
Cooldown's going to come down again. It's going to hit it. It's going to hit 4 heroes at least. Although, is this Clockwork going to outfight? Yes, this Clockwork is going to outfight the Nyx, but die immediately. Meanwhile, everyone else is going to die. They're probably not going to be able to catch this Death Prophet, who has launched her spirits. All of these guys are running in her spirits. They really want to be able to take her down, and I think that they just shouldn't take the chase on this far.
Yeah, look at the ghosts with the damage on the gyrocopter. Nicely moving back, and he still gets the kill with the rocket, which he is leveling up, which I like. Because a lot of people go back for the stats, but you can really abuse the fact that this homing missile, for, you know, a long chase like that, will eventually kill them.
Well, the thing is at max, it does 440 damage. That is one of the highest single nuke damage spells that's not an ultimate that you can cast. Meanwhile, it's on an 11-second cooldown at max, and that's pretty good for somebody that's usually played as a carry. That's not bad.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I remember there was like this little stint of where Gyro was a support. I think it lasted like 3 weeks. Like, it was really short, but you just max rocket barrage and homing missile and just run at people. And you can use homing missile very effectively against teams who don't have a lot of range, or against teams that have very low attack speed, or just against teams who freak out and forget to attack it.
Yeah, true. He's got 3.1k gold and nothing in the stash. What do you think he'll be going for next?
Poor. I would say a Monkey Kingba, but he could be picking up something like a butterfly, but there's no physical damage to dodge.
Yeah, I can't see him with a butterfly. I can, however, see him with a manta.
Yeah, Manta would be decent to absorb more damage, obviously, from the ghosts. Helps against the mini stun from the clockwork. But with all the nukes on Ronin, it's probably not going to be that hard to just get rid of the Manta style illusion straight away.
Yeah, very true.
It does take off the Krob silence, however, which definitely could be useful, but a silenced Gyro just clicks BKB and shoots you.
But yeah, that's true as well. BKB in the not BKB, Gyrocopter in the late game is funny. Gyrocopter about TI2 was never played as a carry. He was usually played as a mediocre support, and by mediocre support I'm talking about the dazzles that we just don't see in competitive play and that sort of thing. And when somebody drafted him as a carry because, hey, Agi hero with multiple attack, he just absolutely took off in the carry scene, in the Dota 2 scene as a carry, and he fits in quite nicely in there, I think.
Yeah, Gyro definitely, he sort of fell out a little for a while when they changed Flat Cannon to 30 seconds instead of 20 seconds, because before you could cast it, go into the fight 13, 12 seconds later, use it all, and then it'd be up again, and then you cast it again. So you get 12 attacks on everyone, and all of a sudden your whole team was dead just from that. But looking at the experience, we've got about a 13k lead for Cora, so really pulling ahead on that experience graph now, and about 7.5k in gold. So this is their game to win. But Ronin can definitely still come back into this with their high pushing power. It's just Cora can fight so much more effectively than them now.
Yeah, what I think is interesting is the farming and the way that farming is working for Cora, purely because if you look at the graph, you'll see that there is that dip around about 13 minutes in where the brilliant team fight was won by Ronin, but then the graph is steadily heading into Cora's direction, which I think is interesting. It means that Cora is just doing a better job of staying in lane and farming and knowing when to get last hits and when to go into the jungle and when to initiate team fights, which is really good.
Yeah, their movements have definitely been quite superior, and I mean, they've been playing more of a reactionary Dota where they're forcing Ronin, obviously as their lineup needs, to go as a 5-man and push the towers, and they just farm all the lanes all that time, the jungle everywhere, as you were saying, and then as soon as they get to the tower, TP in, want to fight.
Yeah.
And they just have the lineup to be able to do that. Obviously, we were saying they don't have much counter push, but they can definitely fight you.
True. I'd love to see that sort of strategy applied, but to the enemy towers, maybe picking up phase boot, not a phase boot, so boots of travel on this gyro, but after he picks up his next attack item, which we're still not really sure what it is. We could see an MKB. We could see an MKB just for the mini stun.
Yeah, we definitely could. I mean, it outputs a hell of a lot of damage. And all you really build... I mean, you could go for a Satanic, but I would say the MKB is going to come out next.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that the team is clustered enough for a Satanic to be really effective.
No, and he doesn't need it. Like, he could pick up a Helmet the Dominator, then get an MKB, then get a Satanic, which is generally what you see at this point of a game, unless they are desperate for the damage output, but they've still got a Weaver, who's almost as Lincoln's, so not bad. He'll probably pick it up at 20, well, basically in like 2 CS. So, he's doing fine, especially because he was on a dual lane. He didn't get the farm he wanted, sitting on the same as the Krob, so definitely not that far behind, but the Gyro is just leaps and bounds ahead. He's basically got double of the next highest, and he's 5k, he's 6k almost ahead of the Krob, which is the highest for Ronin.
Yeah, definitely. He's got huge last hits. He's got a lot of gold, huge net worth, and it's just, that's the last thing that you... If you see that on Lich or on Visage or even on Nyx, yeah, it's a bit of a worry. If you see it on Gyro, you've got a much bigger problem to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. And Ronin just getting their Skype calls sorted out now with all the reconnects. Apparently 2 of them are at the same house, so they both dropped it once their internet had a flitter and died.
We've been having a few issues with internet here, and Valve is making it much easier on us by updating every 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's been good. There's been 2 updates today, and Twitch update as well was today, and OBS I believe had an update today as well. So
yeah,
it's really good.
it's all going off today. Either way, the game's going to start back up now. All of the players are back. Let's see what they decide to do with this. They were going to push straight down mid, which is fair enough. I think they might be losing a little bit of farm doing this, but they don't have the lineup to farm and wait to late game, so they really do need to push these towers, and most importantly, win these team fights.
Yeah, they're on a time limit, and their time limit's almost over. But this tower melting very quickly. The glyph is going to be used. Weaver's split pushing though, and the gyrocopter's top, so I think we're just going to let this fall. Gyro does have a TP though, so they could come and defend. The Psycho being stunned out now. Ulti being thrown by Lich is going to bounce once, and between a creep actually, it hit Exile twice, and he's most likely going to fall here. He is super tanky though, very hard to take down. One of the birds is going to drop as well. Bristleback is going to die, but they still get the tower for 1 hero, which works out perfectly for them. That's a really good trade for where they are right now. Even though it's their carry, but he's not really a carry, he's more of a run at them and yell stuff guy.
Once again though, you're still feeding this gyrocopter who's on 4.5k, and he's going for an Eagle Song, which means that he's probably going to build into an MKB. Not an MKB. Actually, that's an interesting point. Butterfly, sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised about the Butterfly. For damage output, MKB is better, but I mean, he wants to dodge some hits. And it gives him attack speed, which is fine without flat cannon. Like, normally you want to get, max damage on everyone, so speed isn't what you go, because it's max attacks, you go for pure damage. But Butterfly is a fine choice. I think I'd prefer MKB, but I definitely don't think it's wrong.
Yeah, I'm guessing he wants to just go for that damage output, as well as that right click, and be able to solo Bristleback in the team fight. That way Bristleback isn't the tanky one that's left out, but they're coming into the bottom here, and they are going to find Bristleback. Are they going to make anything of this? Lich is going to come in here immediately. They're going to cast the missiles. The team is going to come in for support. That cooldown is going to hit 2. He's popped his BKB, he's trying to run in there, he is godlike, he takes that godlike, he's going to go the Soul Assumption, taking out the the clockwork there. Dazzle also coming down. They've popped everything, but they're just going to farm these wards.
Yeah, I mean, they're all on very low health. And same as Cora. They don't have... They had a mech, but they popped it very quickly. Which they needed at the start, obviously, or else like half their team would be dead right now. I'm surprised they didn't force that more and use the Aegis on the Gyrocopter to take that down that tower, but as we've been saying, they're not on a time limit. They can take this game to 50 minutes and win.
No, yeah, exactly. With the Gyro and a Weaver, you've got that late game. Even though you've only got 2 solid late game heroes, you've got 2 solid late game heroes, which is 2 more than Ronin have. I'd like to call Bristleback late game, but I just don't think he is. Bristleback, he appeals to me in much the same way that Chaos Knight does. Chaos Knight is a very, very strong mid-game hero. Once he gets to level 13-ish, up to about 17, he can just absolutely wreck any higher, and he's way too farm dependent, and he basically becomes like a support, needing all of the items to help him make those kills. And Bristleback is the same. He's a very good mid hero, he can get a lot of kills, but if it gets too late, all he is just a sort of tank machine. He needs the farm to really deal damage.
Yeah, and they're going to catch the Shadow Shaman here. Nice easy pickup for them. They're going to have no problem. And the Dagon. Obviously, the Dagon's got to come out from the Nyx.
Oh, of course. You can't buy a Dagon when you're losing and then, like, oh, when you're winning, sorry, and then, like, not use it once in the game. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got to, really. You've got to use it for last D2T. You can't use it for anything else. Because that's not what Dagon was designed for.
I'm just thinking of all of those fails where they go for the Dagon and it hits the creeps, and I'm wondering if Cora want to be pushing some of these towers, but it looks like they are just going to go back into the jungle. They are just going to farm. They are going to take this late game. Their Gyro's fed. He's already got his butterfly. It looks like they don't really want to use this Aegis on him, which is fair enough. They're just really relaxing.
Yeah, exactly, and they can do this. Butterfly, as you said, has been completed, and with a beyond godlike Gyrocopter, who didn't even die early and then get the godlike, but he's not died at all. He's having the best time. 26 minutes with a 15k net worth is pretty massive. That's just under double what the Crop has, and that's not even, I mean, their so-called carry.
Looks like they've already pinged out their Dazzle here, but I think this chase is a little bit silly. Yeah, they think it's a bit silly too. They're just going to go back into the tower. They're going to do the fight under their own terms. There are a couple of chases, though. It looks like both the Nyx and the Weaver, they want to take out the Shadow Shaman. Are they going to be able to? Oh, the Dagon takes him down almost instantaneously. And now there's a follow-up with the Visage Familiars doing nothing, unfortunately. And they're just going to right-click down this tower. Is Death Prophet going to cast her Exorcism? Is she going to get those spirits out? I'm not sure.
Exile here going in way too deep and basically instantly dies just from the Black Cannon. The Clockwork does actually manage to take down the Aegis just because of the shallow grave, but the rest of the team's already dead. The Aegis was popped, so he's back again. Shadow Shaman has revived now, so he's going to try and come back here and do something, but 1 against 5 as a poor little Shadow Shaman. Probably not going to win that one, and apparently my mic is coming through quite low again, so I think it's an issue coming through with the OBS because it's like max on my end.
Oh, really?
It's max on Skype, so I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe the input levels on your Skype audio are too low or something.
Yeah, I can hear absolutely fine. I've made sure to set the game sounds really low and your voice up really high. I'm going to fix it up for the next stream. I'll do a couple of test runs on my own channel so that it works absolutely perfectly for next time. So they're just going to try and harass that tower a little bit. Looks like Daz, you were a bit wrong about Shadow Shaman. Casts his wards and they back off.
Yeah, I mean, he did manage to scare them away, which I'm pretty surprised about. They did kill all the wards and almost kill the tower, but I mean, the Aegis was down and they didn't need to force it, so back off. They could even wait just for another Roshan to come up, farm the map, completely take Ronin's neutral creeps, because Ronin are moving pretty far out of their base right now, and Cora don't have to let them do that. They need to just strangle them let them have no farm, no map presence, and just stranglehold them until the game ends, basically. It's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, for Ronin to take this game back. At a 30k experience deficit and almost a 20k gold deficit, it's going to be a hard one.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Cora will have to lose 3 team fights to lose this game. Or just lose Gyrocopter once and then give someone 1400 gold.
Yeah, I can imagine giving your Death Prophet or your Bristleback all of that gold, but even then I can't see it really turning around. I can't see it making much of a difference, especially against a pushing lineup. The question is, how do they counter push against all of these heroes? Against a Gyrocopter that can just take down Serpent Wards really easily, against a Nyx who can just roam around and completely stuff up one of your players, against a couple of really strong right clickers. We're going to see this.
Exactly, and this tower is just going to melt to the Desolator that's about to be popped onto the Weaver. Bushido is trying to force them out as much as he can, but obviously going to struggle with that just a little bit. Lich is just going to throw his ulti out to farm, I guess. It's good. He got some good creep kills with it.
Yeah, pretty much cleared the wave, and they are going to move in on this. The Familiar's doing good work there. They're going to come in onto that Bristleback. Bristleback is very, very tanky. The cooldown is going to slow him down. Oh, Shallow Grave there might be saving him. Clockwork has already gone down, and so has Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, really nice save from the Dazzle there with that Shallow Grave at basically the very last second. So keeping them from getting that extra kill, which probably, if they got that kill, they would have just gone high ground, but they're going to go back, take this tier 2, and secure the rest of the map. The Roshan, we will know when it's going to spawn in about 20 seconds, and that could be the timing for them, honestly. They can take out this tower, go around, take the Ancients, clear their jungle, clear enemy jungle, clear the other Ancients, and take Roshan, push high ground, and win the game. And this Gyrocopter's got another 2,800 gold. The Argonym's is now picked up on the Visage, so we're going to see more of those stuns coming out with the 3 birds rather than the 2. They have been dying a lot, but obviously they just set up that fight there and basically got them the kills. So sometimes, you know, the controller's a bit off, but sometimes it's just spot on and gets you that space you need.
And they can afford to just, you know, take a tower and back off for the same reasons that we've been talking about the entire game. Their draft is just much more suited to it. I can't see Ronin coming back from this unless they get a very good team fight and push through mid all the way to base.
Yeah, but even then, Gyrocopter's going to have buyback. Actually, no, he just spent his gold because he doesn't care. Okay, so Weaver will have buyback and Nyx will have buyback. So, yeah, it's going to be hard. And Roshan is about to spawn. Very quick timer, actually. And having the birds there is just going to give them the vision. And they see Roshan. They're basically right next to it. They're just going to pick it up. They can't actually pick it up on the jar. I doubt he wants to sell his drums for it. And he hasn't finished the Satanic, so he doesn't have that spare slot. I think giving it to the Weaver would be fine in this situation. But he's nowhere near. And Cora V2 is not going to get picked off here. No, the hook actually goes into the Roshan pit. Not where you want to be, Psycho, and you're going to die very, very quickly. Exile now coming in on that Bristleback, tanking up a lot of the damage. Gyrocopter here, trying to kill off the wards along with Black Cannon hitting the rest of the team, but they're actually on the retreat here. A lot of people on low health. Magibum is going to hide in that corner. Lich ulti is going to be thrown, but only go into Exile and basically do nothing else. He's going to fall here. Magibum, he's stuck in the Ancients. He's very slow trying to run away, but he doesn't escape. And Ronin, meanwhile, all the time, just losing their whole team in the background. And that fight actually looked kind of good for Ronin, and then all of a sudden they all died.
It's just that turnaround from having heroes, which are just so much higher level, have so much of a higher net worth, and that just completely changes it around. Of course, they finish Rosh. They leave the Aegis in there, because who's going to take it? Weaver decides to take it, which is what you said was the best option.
Yeah, I mean, Gyrocopter doesn't want to sell an item, and I don't even think he needs it. Once he has a Satanic, they won't kill him.
Definitely.
He's too tanky, and he hits 4 times and has full health when he clicks Satanic, so no real need, and it's going to be better on the Weaver.
So both Satanic and Helm go really well on him. not because of the single target damage output, but for the fact that that's still gaining him health. Whenever he uses the flat cannon, that gains him health.
Yeah, no. Ronin are just going to call it GG. They knew they couldn't come back to do anything and just said, okay, we're done. This game is out of our reach now after that team fight and Roshan pickup. So,
That makes
congrats to
sense.
Cora. Really well played on their part, just stopping that push lineup from getting anywhere and getting those early kills and then just turning around after one bad team fight and just going, all right, let's start killing their whole team.
That 11-0 gyrocopter, who's just so farmed, is pretty much the reason for the win there. Although great teamwork by everyone like Nyx and Visage, getting their required items, warding correctly, and just absolutely owning the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, the Nyx did miss quite a few stuns at the start, but he sort of got the hang of it later on. But yeah, definitely that gyrocopter just being perfectly protected and had all the farm he wanted and never dying, which obviously is a very big thing as a carry when you want to get a lot of farm. Just the not dying part is good for him. So congrats to Cora. They are actually not in this group that we're doing today. We had to squeeze one of their games into today because they couldn't play all the games on the 18th because they're in Group D. So they're the top of their table right now. I mean, what can you say? They're the top. They've only played one, but no one else has played any. So congrats to Cora for leading the table.
Let's see if they can change this around. If this will change around when we get to it on the 18th. Until then, I'll probably be doing a lot more casts with you. Thank you very much for having me on your channel, by the way.
Yeah, no worries, man. It's been a good time, and we will be casting again at 8:30 p.m. With March of Massic versus DA, which is probably going to be the best game of the day, in my opinion.
I think it'll be a really good game.
So hopefully I believe we're doing that on the main channel. So if you guys want to watch that, you will need to go to, I can't remember the channel name. I think it's just Defense of the Australians.
Yes, twitch.tv/Defense of the Australians. If you're interested in watching more of our casts, Daredevil Dance, Twitch Daredevil Dota, and you can follow me as well on OnlyLogic, twitch.tv/OnlyLogic. Thank you very much.
Right. And so the stream will be gone now and we'll be back later on tonight.
Awesome.